number three at 122. So we right back where we was at. At 26, we back at number three, and then hopefully I'll be number one soon. Obviously.
Word. Now, the thing about it is like you were just waiting for the opportunity first to get back in the ring here this year. We've had previous conversations about having it set up for OTX card, and then once that was done and situated, it was just about putting you there in the ring. Like I said, around your home area and stuff like that. So talk about that experience, being able to step in the ring there once again over in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh man, of course it's a blessing. It's just to continue being able to live in my purpose and continuing to uh, get closer and closer to this world title. I'm right there. I'm literally right around the corner. So you know, word through the grapevine, I'm probably be in the eliminator soon, whatever, and then world title. So shit, you already know. I'm anxious. I'm ready. That'll probably be the latter part of the year. So I'm just got to be patient, keep working to then.
Yeah. We were basically answering the question there from Jesus Sim. Yeah, we just looking for the next eliminator there at 126 pounds here. For Elijah Pierce, and immediately after the fight, you kind of like as sometimes they say, you're your own biggest critic, and you said there, with your particular performance that you tried to get in as far as like the gist of things and warm up and stuff like that, and you kind of like seen that a little bit there in the fight where you kind of worked to break down Michael Das Marinas, getting to the body. I mean, I was watching live. I'm like, yo, get to the body, especially when you seen he was visibly wearing down. And then once you're able to do that, then you got a little bit more successful in order to set up the knockout shot there in the ninth round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, for sure, could have got him out a lot earlier. But it definitely, like I said, I felt really sluggish. I didn't like how I was feeling at all. Like I just felt very just out of place, and I think a lot of it attributed to the sparring because I didn't spar any southpaws during
Mm.
the camp. Which was a fault of me and my team. So no one to blame there, but um, yeah, I just think that was a big part in it. And there were some other things that kind of happened or whatever, but it was what it was. What I'm saying? I still got the knockout. I still, I still won the fight. I even was winning the fight without the knockout. On the scorecards, he was out throwing me, but it doesn't mean he was efficiently landing on
Hmm.
me. And a lot of people was kind of getting that misconstrued or whatever. But like I said, to each his own. End of the day, it definitely was my it was probably one of my worst performances personally. But I was glad I was able to finish in dramatic fashion, and you know, we got the big knockout, and which was even more funny because I believe on it was on here too on the boxing stores where I actually predicted that I was going to do that too. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look back and check some of the prior interviews, but I could have swore I said that I was going to do a highlight reel knockout.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I was saying, the whole thing is about Michael Das Marinas and his like whole nickname and stuff like that. I ain't even gonna repeat it because like you
Yeah.
shouldn't be calling yourself that. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. But you were able to still finish the job. I like that graphic there. Of course, you had the wolf, the wolf design there. Chasing him and everything like that. Being on
Oh
there.
yeah.
That was good and everything like that. And say, you had your daughter out there, that was doing the first part of the introduction there, and then you had Roscoe Dash out there. I was saying like, hey man, I seen him. I seen him, do that. So I'm like, oh snap, man, it's like the late 2000s or something again, pulling back.
Yeah.
You know
Hey
what I mean?
shit, man. I want to bring that nostalgia back to Atlanta. It was dope, man. Roscoe is my boy, so shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? That was a whole movie, bro. I mean, everything. It might not have went exactly how we planned, but end of the day, it still came out great. It was a great night. It was what it was, and I'm proud to have had that experience. I had all my siblings there except for one. Um, it was a special moment. You know what I'm saying? And I was just glad that we was able to get the W. And now, like I said, we moving forward on to the next step. And I'm right there to a world title.
Yep.
So hopefully, like I said, this eliminator goes through. I fight in this eliminator, knock that dude out, and then boom, we on.
Word for sure. Of course, you got a guy here, Sean Terrence in the building, checking in. It says, "How you doing there?" Elijah says,
Man.
"Soon to be champ." There, and Jesus M got a few suggestions there. We got first, he got Robeisy Ramirez. Even though like I didn't even see Robeisy Ramirez in a good little minute. You know what I'm saying? But that could be a possible fight there, or also like a Yan Santana.
Well,
Uh,
you already know the story with Robeisy Ramirez. I told you that a couple times. Like I
yeah.
said, he dug me twice. He was like I said, supposed to fight me or Espinoza, and he chose us Espinoza. And then after he lost the first time, they asked him to fight me again. For his get back fight in order to fight Espinoza again, and he chose another opponent instead of me. So I mean. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to risk that against me, to be
Mhm.
honest. So I don't know who the Yan Santana dude is. I don't know who the hell that is,
Oh
but
yeah, that's the top ranked guy there from the what was it, the DR Dominican Republic there. I think he had his last fight over in New York City about a couple weekends ago. I think it was like before
uh,
you had your fight. So that was in
is
one.
he a top contender? Like is he
I
is
think
he?
he's up contending. I don't think he's like in the top like rated like that high. In comparison to some of the other guys that have been suggested though. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah, then ain't nothing to talk about. Then I don't need no. I ain't trying to fight no 15s, 14, none of that. No, I need top five dudes from this point. That's what I'm going after. I'm going after the top dogs because it's time to submit myself and be amongst those and surpass them. It's time for that. I didn't had my fair share. I didn't had what about five fights now, five different veterans I didn't beat and
mhm.
knocked out like four of them. Like I'm ready, bro. It's time.
Yeah. And other one that was suggested is Luis Neri, who is rated at number one in the WBO, and of course you have the international title there on that front. So I mean,
Yeah,
Luis Neri.
man. I'm saying I'm about to go up in the WBO. Like I'm ranked I think number six right now, but I'm about to go up in the WBO. And look, I forgot who's Neri's about to fight somebody. He's getting ready to fight I forgot who, but he's getting ready to fight somebody.
Yeah, he should be
So
in a gear to fight someone, but I had forgot like who he was.
I can't not remember, but yeah, he's actually getting ready for about to fight somebody. And then let me see who else. Damn, you got the rankings pulled up?
Like I got him pulled up. Let me see here. I'm gonna see if I'll be able to share it here real quick. If I got it on the other screen
Yes,
here.
or if anything, just read the top five names. That's like I know I'm number six.
All right, so yeah, I got this
Yeah.
joint here where you got like a lot. Well, this one it didn't update the WBA yet because it's like on my site. It didn't update it, but of
Oh
course
yeah.
you got
No, but yeah, see you got Neri, yes. Neri better fight somebody. Then you got the Tashiki Kid.
yeah,
He ain't I think he's at 22. I thought he was at 20. He's at 22. The
he
fuck is
might.
he the fuck is
Yeah,
he
I don't
doing
know why.
ranked at 26?
Yeah, 26. Yeah, I don't know what WBO got there. And then of course you got
Yeah.
the Figueroa joint. We talked about that
Yeah,
whole thing with
yeah. They
Figueroa.
say Figueroa, he's getting ready to fight somebody too. He's getting
Well,
ready to fight.
he just fought. We had just fought. A few weeks ago where he had that thing there against who was it? They always get some chances. Because he had the decision win against Joey Gonzalez. Figueroa did.
Oh, it was your going. Oh, okay, word,
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Well,
So
I know that Mirko Coelho dude. I thought him and Figueroa was about to fight. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But I don't know. But then the Kenji and the Ryu, them Japan dudes. I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like I'm gonna surpass them. I don't even know. I don't know who they are. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
I'm
I
pretty,
don't.
I'm pretty sure with that WBO international, I'll surpass them.
Mhm.
So. if you kind of keep that in mind, that's really setting me up right there to fight. You know, for me to really be like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
probably shit. Just depending on how things go, I should be one or two,
Hmm. Hmm.
honestly. And then, you know what I'm saying? From there, like I said, and like I
Yeah,
said,
put that, that's
I don't
all.
know. We just gotta see. You just gotta see, because even in the let me see, in the WBA,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
had
know.
well, they had you at like number three, but I'm gonna see if I could pull that up here, the updated ranking on that real quick, because yeah, they got they have you currently at number three at featherweight, and of course like Nick Ball got his his thing coming up, his fight coming up. So yeah, I should have it up here right now. Yeah, Mirko Cuello, they got Brandon Figueroa there next, and then they got you right there, and then Odebek Kolmatov, and then Sam Goodman. I think that's who is Nick Ball is fighting next is Sam Goodman, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think that. Yeah, I think
yeah.
you're right.
So that's what they got currently there on that front. Have a couple questions here. Of course, Sean Terrence got it here. It says, out of all your fights, which fight would you say that you looked your best or you did your best in?
Mm, shit, I don't know. Probably the Tremaine Williams fight. I would say, 'cause that was the one that kind of start really like picking up the momentum for me. Because he was a world title challenger, and I whooped Tremaine ass in that fight. Like that was probably one of the best shapes I was ever in. I outgunned him to the T. I really should have stopped it. Like I was pouring it on him in that fight. But yeah, if I had to choose one, I guess out of the more recent fights, it would probably be that one.
Gotcha, gotcha. And my guy, our brother Joseph Aaron is on here, man. He says, "Yeah, let's go, champ." There, and Sean requests, "Hey, Elijah Pierce versus Brandon Figueroa. Want to see that?" So he got you stopping Figueroa, and it said it'd be a huge statement, and it will put pressure on Stephen Fulton to fight Elijah Pierce. Even if he takes out Brandon Figueroa, I still don't think Stephen Fulton will do it, man. I'm not sure. And my guy Joe
That
asked,
dude ain't gonna fight me, dog. He don't want to fight me.
and my guy Joe asked, who is your promoter there, currently? Wants to know your
I'm currently promoted by Overtime Boxing and Sean and Brendan Gibbons from Manny Pacquiao
yeah,
Promotions.
man, Pacquiao promotion. So yeah, Sean Gibbons there, brother Joe. So yeah, so they got it. Now, speaking of all that, there was some comments soon after your fight that you had against Michael Das Marinas, and it came from, I guess, Jean Real Casimiro, or somebody
Yeah,
with his crew and all that type of stuff. And he said, "Oh, hey, you did a good job and everything, but if we stepped in the ring with you, we would take you out." And I'm like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? From John Real Casimiro? Like, I ain't even really hear much about Casimiro for a good little minute though. So that kind of like came out of left field for me, man. Like,
I mean,
what
I
do you
heard, but they kept telling me it was his brother or some shit, like who
think?
was saying it wasn't him or whatever. So, I mean, I just kind of like okay, but I mean, if it was Casemiro, I like, bro, I beat the dog shit out of Casemiro. Casemiro is too fucking small for me. I don't care. Like I said, everybody can try to nitpick this and that and the third, regardless. Like everybody different. And I've been in the gym with Casemiro before. Casemiro little as hell. Like I'll murk Casemiro.
Yeah,
And
man.
I definitely I definitely be on point for that fight too, because I know Casemiro can't punch. I'm not dumb. So like I'd be on point for sure, and I'll beat the dog shit out of that dude.
Yeah, but I mean, given what we were talking about as far as like the whole landscape here at 126 pounds, like I don't even think that Casemiro would like really be in the picture here right now. You know what I'm saying? So that is kind of like an afterthought. We moving forward, we not moving backward, and that type of thing. So
I mean, it just end of the day, what I didn't knocked out the top. What that's the like damn near the top three guys. I mean, or what's it the second or the second, third, and fourth, I believe, or fifth, something like that. I don't know, cause I know Planios. He was like one of the. top guys for sure from the Philippines, and
Mhm.
I knocked out Arthur, and then I just knocked out this dude, or whatever. So I mean, he was ranked high in Philippines, so I think he was like number three.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, I mean, and I seen that in the comments at one point, like, oh, come fight the king of the Philippines or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, man. I love the Philippines. Philippines, they good people. Every time I've ran into the Philip, because my cousin, he was in Manny's camp for the Tim Bradley fight. So like I got to meet Manny, and I got to meet a lot of the. Well, I didn't get to really talk to Manny, but I got to see him and up close, and got to meet his family and a lot of his close his trainers and all that stuff. I met Freddie
Yeah.
Roach, talked to Freddie Roach, had all his team or whatever, and they was real cool. Always, and a bunch of his fans. Well, them Philippine fans is dope. They
Mhm.
supportive as hell.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are, man. They're definitely loyal to their fighters and everything like that, no matter what the division is. And they also, they've been following boxing like, really heavy, man. And yeah,
Yeah,
Shantair says, yeah,
for real.
you forgot,
Shit,
yeah, you
a
forgot
lot
about
of them don't like Casemiro though. A lot of them don't
Mhm.
like him. A lot of them was favoring me in the when I seen. I was like, that shit was funny.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When you put that thing up there, it says Jesus Sim says Celo versus Rio. So I gotta catch up. I don't know which fight that is there that Jesus Sim was talking about.
Is that Ronnie Rios and
Maybe
Stella?
maybe Ronnie Rios. It might be that one.
That's the only thing I could think of. Say Rios. That's the only probably name I could think. Mm.
Yeah, because I ain't even hear much about that fight coming up either there on that front. But yeah, I mean like I said, you there pretty established there, 126 pounds. Of course, had that highlight reel knockout there on OTX 15 and things like that to kind of like cap off the show. There,
Mhm.
of course, you had a couple of other fighters that were on there as well that were able to get wins and stuff like that. Of course, you had the thing with O'Shea Jones, Haven Brady Jr. on there, and they had like what was it, like a pink slip match or something like that there with Maximus Garland and Morgan Griggy. But just having you on there for these OTX cards and headlining these OTX cards, man. How is it to, like you said, you had most of your family out there, and the crowd was out there supporting you, man. So what was it to like be part of that experience there in that particular venue this time around?
Oh, I mean, like I said, it was dope, dude. Literally, it was just being able to once again put on for the city, for the crowd and everything, all my peoples, whatever. That's what I love to do, and I'm a showman. I just like I said, the only thing I was a little tight about was just the fact that performance wise, I didn't feel my best. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel fully prepared in a sense of not in the sense of like training or anything like that, but just more so like I don't know, just being in there. I felt weird. It didn't feel right. I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't able to really get off or do the things that I'm naturally good at. But I adjusted, and that's why I walked his ass down the damn near the whole fight. And eventually, I knew I was gonna get him, but it definitely set in for sure. Once my father, he kind of got emotional, and he kind of talked to me, piped me up, whatever. Like uh, right before the ninth round, he kind of he gave me a good pep talk, and then after that, it was all she wrote. I was ready to get him. You can kind of, a lot of people say you could tell too when I came out for the ninth round, my whole energy was different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
but I kind of like seen it there from like the seventh and eighth round as far as like be able to dig down and just continue to come forward there a little bit, but just be more like throw more emphasis to the body because I seen like more of the body shots and you seen like he was visibly shaken by those body shots and was like really huffing and puffing there. So
yeah,
once I
yeah,
saw that, I'm like, yeah, go to the body. You know what I'm saying? So I was seeing that even before the ninth round knockout that you were really like affecting them to the body, and that opened up more there on the offensive side.
And I ain't gonna lie too. I do one thing I do remember it was that could we actually I worked on that a lot. The body working going to the body a lot for him. But I do remember that I had I just kind of had a lapse in concentration, and I threw one of the body shots from real far out. Like I didn't really like I said, that's kind of where it happens, where I feel like the sparring kind of came in. I didn't have like my distance down enough, so I kind of just overshot the shot, and I was too far. So then he kept stepping back and catching me with the left hand, and I didn't see it, and now got me with a flash knockdown. I was all right though. I wasn't hurt or nothing, just a little flash knockdown, but.
Mm-hmm.
I think once that happened, that kind of stirred me away from the body. So that's why I was kind of head hunting for a little bit, and then eventually, like I said, once I remember I caught him with one and it hurt. I seen on his face that it hurt him. Then that's when I was like, okay, I got him. I got him.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, real quick, there Jesus says Mirko Cuello there versus Sergio Rios for the WBA featherweight interim title. There, I guess that's what he was referring to earlier. But you also have, like I said, Nick Ball there that has his WBA title there that he's going to be fighting on what is it, August 16th. But Sean Terrence asks, like, are you a fighter that prepares for any style, or are you and your team just adjust and figure out the opponent during the fight?
Yeah, I mean, of course we prepare. We prepare beforehand, always. I mean, you supposed to. But I mean, at the same time, I do pride myself on being able to, be versatile and deal with anybody, in the midst of the fight as well and adjust. I
Word.
feel like I feel like that's what makes a complete fighter, being able to adjust on the fly.
Mhm. Yeah, make those adaptations there round by round, and he says you also don't get enough credit for cutting off the ring. He asks, what was your takeaway after rewatching the fight?
Oh yeah, I mean, really, like I said, I just could have did a lot of stuff better. Just simple as that, and it'll all be rectified and fixed. Like I really didn't think about it. It's crazy because when the way people was talking before I had actually watched the fight back over, the way people was talking, that's the reason why I was kind of really criticizing myself so hard, because of the way people was talking. I was thinking like, damn, I must have really looked bad, like. But then when I watched it, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know for a fact I could have did a lot of things better, like absolutely, and I definitely will do better. But it wasn't as bad as people was making the scene. They was boosting the hell out of that shit. Like people was boosting. Like, dude, I had control over the whole fight. Like literally the whole fight. I mean, dude was moving a lot. He was moving, and that surprised me too. That was a big surprise. Like I didn't expect him to move as much as he did. That dude was hitting and he was getting the fuck out the way. But then again, he does know I'm a big puncher or whatever. And then a lot of the punches that I was trying to set up, whatever, he was evading them pretty well. So um there were specific shots. So it's like I had to maneuver and change some things during the fight, and they were effective. And eventually, like I said, once I started touching the body, and then once I started coming body head, body, start switching high low and low high, that was it. And I caught him. He don't want that Shirley.
Yep, yep. There you go. There you go. And my thing was, and we kind of like talked about it in previous conversations, is when you do have that instance where you do have a gap in between fights, like as I say, it's one thing to prepare in the gym. As you said, you've been traveling, you've been out to Japan, you trained over there in Oklahoma City and things like that. But it's a whole nother thing to like have the fights. You know what I'm saying? So like getting in that ring and seeing that you have that opponent next to you and trying to get the gist of what you have to do there and execute your game plan, it's like completely different. Like when you have almost a year, because it was almost a year since your last fight.
Right.
That's a completely different than having another fight that's in the next 4 months or something like that. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I ain't getting no credit for that either, but it is what it is, man. Like I said, I'm just one thing my dad was kind of telling me too was just kind of just understand that people are never going to be satisfied. So, end of the day, it's like I wanted that fight to kind of be a more of a respect earner. That was my goal. But, ultimately, because of the way things happen, I mean, I still, won in devastating fashion and whatnot, but it still didn't do anything in terms of that. All it did was make people more just um, hate on me and feel that I'm not ready for the top competitors and I'm not this and I'm not that. And it's just, it is what it is. At this point, I don't give a shit. I'm just like, all right, man. Well, once I get in front of the top guys, and people will see, and once I beat and stop them, whatever, then they'll switch up like they normally do. And that's and we and that's safe to say because we've seen that time and time again with a lot of these fans of today. They jump ship like they trying to escape the Titanic.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Now, I got a question here from my guy L Dub Boxing. He asked, like, why did you push this guy Brendan Gibbons after the fight when they were trying to celebrate?
Oh, bro, I got asked that like 5 times. Like a bunch of people kept asking me that. I literally don't even remember that. I swear to you, I do not remember that. Like, because a lot of things with me, like I've even done this with my dad before in a fight where he's asked me like, when I win fights and stuff, like I be zoned out, like I black out.
Yeah.
So I don't even be like paying attention. So when people be interrupting my celebrations and all that stuff, I don't really be paying attention to nothing. So
Mhm.
all I like when I seen in the video, I was like, I don't even remember him coming up to me. So he came up to me or whatever, and then I don't know what I don't even know what we said. I don't know. I just remember I just seen I pushed him off or whatever, and then my other homeboy got in the ring and picked me up, and I'm like, put me down because I was
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah. I remember that.
yeah, because I was actually about to hit a backflip right there. I was finna hit a backflip. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just like, damn. And he came and picked me up, so I'm like, damn, like, bro, like y'all get away from me, like everybody out there
I feel
fucking
you.
touching
I
me.
feel you. I mean, at least as long as it isn't like when Antonio Tarver knocked out Roy Jones and he was just swinging all around the ring and then he hit the cameraman or whatever it was
Oh,
when he was
word.
celebrating. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, honestly, bro, I have. Yeah, like there's so many people ask me about that, and I was like, I genuinely, bro, I do not remember that. I was like, damn. Yeah, I was rolling.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's the thing, man. Having that big win and all that type of stuff, and as we said, it was a spectacular knockout win. So yeah, I mean, once you get in that zone, it's like it don't matter who in the ring. It's like, no, I'm done. I'm like gone. I'm gone. So if I'm doing my celebration, I don't know who's around me. I don't care who's around me. I'm gonna just try to get that done. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real. Like that's how like I genuinely, bro, I be blacking out. Like like I said, there's a video on my page where, like I said, my dad, I knocked out a dude in my. This is the first time I fought in Oklahoma in a long time. My hometown, and I had knocked dude out, and then I was celebrating or whatever. I hit a flip, I had hit a flip in the ring or whatever, and then. I was celebrating. My dad got in the ring and was trying to run up and hug me or whatever, and then I just literally walked right past him, like right past him or
Right.
whatever. And then I didn't even notice him until I seen the video. And then he was like, he thought I was mad at him. He was like, yo, because he had pulled me up to the side, and he was like, yo, son, like, you mad at me, like, or something? And I was like, what you talking about? And then he was like, you ain't. I tried to hug you or whatever. You ain't. You just walked right past me. I was like, oh shit, my bad. That I ain't even. I ain't even pay attention.
Yeah, yeah. You said I think there was the Pena fight there towards
Yeah, yeah, opinion
yeah,
fight. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that'd be the thing, man. Sometimes when fighters score that big moment and that big knockout, man, everybody just might as well just wait it out. You know what I'm saying, for about like 5 or 10 seconds, and just
Yeah, you feel
let them
me?
do
Like
their
let me
thing.
let me let me collect myself first.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
be goddamn.
yeah,
I be blacking out, dude. For real, like it be so much adrenaline. You be so hype, all that stuff. And it's crazy because, I want. It's like I don't know. I was feeling so much emotion in that fight for real.
yeah.
I really, really, to be honest, I fought most of the majority of that fight off emotion. I ain't gonna lie, 'cause like I said, I didn't. I was already my skill and stuff. It's not that I don't have it, but I definitely didn't feel comfortable enough to display it in the way that I wanted to. So I felt off. So I was like, okay. So I really just kind of just, like I said, I walked him down, and I just fought off of pure emotion and heart. Especially because I had my kids there. I had both my kids there at that.
Mhm.
So it was a special moment for me. Especially because I had previously, like, during the camp, actually I was going through issues with my son's mother. So I hadn't seen my son in a little minute, in a couple months. So I was already emotionally pretty hurt about that. So me
Mhm.
and her, we ended up getting cool and rectifying some stuff. So she let me take him to the fight and stuff. So I was real happy about that. So it was just a lot. So I had so much going on in my head, but it all fared out, for the best.
Yep, for sure, man. Big ups, brother Smitty in the building, checking in, elephant in the room, and all that type of stuff, man. And, like you were mentioning there, because in our conversation, like when you were over in Oklahoma City with your last preparations for the bout there, you're there with your dad and everything like that, and you kind of like talk about having that type of thing as far as like getting ready for your fights and how important it is to have your family around you and stuff like that. And, with your son, you'll be recently born and things like that. And then, now, having a few things rectified, then you're able to see your young son and stuff like that. And if folks follow you on Instagram, hey, you say your kids are your everything. You know what I mean? Not, you got
Yeah,
your daughter there, you got your son too. So, I mean, just having that right before your fight, I know that you were like, really psyched up. And as I mentioned before, having your daughter walk you out there also too, so that
very
made it a
sure.
great moment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't finna take no L in front of my kids, in front of my babies. That wasn't finna happen. Not like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I said, she didn't walk me out and everything, you know what I'm saying? Nah. I was like, it was just a lot, man. It was a lot on my mental, and I just knew at the end of the day, I knew I was stronger than him. I knew I was better than him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tough guy though. I respect him. It's all love, but I just knew I was gonna get his ass up out of there. And when my dad gave me that green light and told me to go get him, and was like, "Son, you just can't, like, you gotta stop him. Like, you gotta knock him out." That was all he had to tell me, and I came out there and I was like, "I'm finna knock your ass out." Like, that ninth round, that's why I had cocked the guns for real. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you were
saying?
locked in. You were locked in, yo. You
Yeah,
were locked in.
for
You know what I
real.
mean? Yeah, what guy Sean Terrence says they say that Das Marinas just gassed out, but I think the body shots played a part into that. Yeah, because I mean, I've seen it. Like
Yeah,
you
of
just
course.
working, walking them down and just working
Oh
there and getting
man,
out.
like, be for real. Like,
Yeah,
that don't even make no sense. How a veteran for what federal over 40 fights, who he only lost 4 fights. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's fought, was he ain't he's a world title challenger too at that?
yep,
Like,
yeah,
how did somebody just gas out just to gas out? Like, fuck out of here, bro. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean,
He
there's a
would
there's
always be finding some way to hate or discredit something. Like, come on, bro, be for real. Like, yeah, he gassed out because nigga was hitting that body, and like, I'm really punching like that for real.
Yep, for sure, man, and that's what ended up having to fight, in the way that it did. So I mean, I felt like that was like the highlight of the weekend there on that front. So
Oh,
you're able
bro,
to get that
appreciate
spectacular finish there. Like I said, we gonna be seeing there on that OTX IG account and everything like that, and we gotta see what's the next move. We've already like mentioned a couple of potential matchups out there. Got to wait on what's going to happen here with the WBO. The rankings usually come out at like the middle of the month and
it.
things like that. So once that happens, then we kind of like could get a better idea of what could potentially happen there. Because I know a couple of fights are going to happen within the WBA, as you got the world champion and then the interim championship is going to be on the line and stuff like that too. So we got to see how it sorts itself out. But we just trying to see if you could get that world title shot here real soon. So I want to see that, like, in reference to eliminate about, make sure that gets that takes place within the next couple of months or so. We'll see if we could set that up.
Word. I mean, so I was told, man. I'm ready. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, um, you know, it's all I've been working for.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we tried to get that shot, there at 122 pounds, but Naoya Inoue, it was like taking all the belts, and then all of these contenders didn't want to give up their spot and anything like that. And so
Yeah.
he was like, you know what? Let me just try this here at 126. And now we seeing if we got a good little path here to go for a world title. Got a last question here from our brother Sean. He says, "What fight would you want next if it were up to you?"
I mean, everybody know. Like I said, I want to fight Fulton bitch ass, but if not him, then Nick Ball, and if not Nick Ball, then Espinoza or Leo. I mean, there's really any of the champions, bro. Like, I really do not care at all. Like, I just want to fight. I just want to fight for the belt and win the belt. Cause once I win the belt, then really that's when I feel like my dream really begins, and I'll be able to like put in place everything that I've ever strived and wanted, more so, like, as far as my plan of how I want to play out my life, like I can really start to initiate the things that I want to do and so on and so forth, with my life. But yeah, it's really simple as that, dude. Like, I don't think people be taking me serious when I say that. Like, I really don't give a shit about who I fight or nothing. A fight is a fight, and I feel like I can literally, like I said, I'm not. I don't call myself the W Triple XLF for no reason. Like, the whole significance behind that is I'm adaptable, I'm versatile. I'm unpredictable. You don't know what you're gonna get when you step in the ring
Hmm.
with me. I can whip that ass a number of different ways. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't. I've just used what's necessary for me to win, and
Hmm.
so if me just walking the dude down ultimately got me the victory, then I'm doing something right. Now I agree that, yeah, there's definitely things I gotta tighten up, more so defensively, because I didn't even really have to get hit that fight. I didn't, but like I said, things happened in the camp that, things that needed to be rectified. So, moving forward they will be. But, that's what it was.
Word. And on that front, right? Because we talked about this some time back, with one of your previous fights, right? And that it's crazy that for some, they could say that if another fighter like gets knocked down or gets caught or something like that, and then they come back and win, it's like resilience. But then if someone like you or someone like around you, like let's say, gets knocked down, it's like, oh my goodness, look, he struggled in that fight, or he really isn't that good, or anything like that.
I
It's
mean, we
almost like
just
an
gotta put a
overstanding.
name
You know
on
what I
him,
mean?
bro. We just gotta put a name on it. And we all know that dude is in a way. Like I said, in a way, goddamn, I don't know. It's just his fan base is just, it is what it is. I don't even, I stopped caring about that. It's like, come on,
Gotcha.
bro. Like, in a way, then got his ass dropped like about what 2 or 3 times now. And like, and they always got to see, oh, well, he got dropped by Neri or whatever. Okay, Lewis Neri is fucking 5'4", little as shit, and he's slow as hell. Not saying that he not good or he can't fight, but that dude's slow. And
Hmm.
and then he got then Cardenas. Cardenas,
Yeah.
ain't he's a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but everybody try to put that connotation on him being an Uber driver because he literally was a fucking Uber driver. He got dropped by Uber driver. Okay, so like I said, yeah, keep where's that flight from him? From him? Oh, but he got up and stopped him. Okay, so did I, both times. So what are you saying? Oh, well, he got him out in 3 rounds. You got him out at 9. Like that shit is retarded to me. Like the fact that they completely forget about the fact that I stopped him. Period.
Hmm.
And try to, oh, well, he stopped him in less rounds than you. Like, all right, bro. Yeah, it don't even, and then really I stopped him in a more devastating fashion. So it's just like there's always a way that you can, play those games. In end of the day, I don't, man, ain't nobody worry about that. Like I said, if anyway was to fight me, I guarantee I'd be probably one of his hardest fights ever in his career. I mean, I genuinely believe that because I know myself. People who know me genuinely, like one thing about me is I've always fought. I've always done my best. And I'm not even saying just in boxing. Just when I play basketball, when I play football, and any other sport I've ever played. Whenever I played the competition I was supposed to beat or supposed to win, I've always had mediocre performances. I don't know why. I don't know why. I literally don't. But anytime I face the best competition, the top guys, I've always had my most best performances with anything. Like literally, even in the amateurs, I remember even in the amateurs in boxing when I first fought Antonio Russell, Gary Russell, little brother. When I
Yeah.
first fought, yeah, when I fought him, I remember he was smoking everything in Georgia. Like everybody, niggas was scared of him. I just had came from Oklahoma. I just moved to Georgia. I had only been there probably a year since when I started back in the amateur scene. Like so, this is my first big tournament. We had the Sugar Bird tournament or whatever, and
Mhm.
he knocking shit out like he normally do. Why I get in there? Why I put them paws on Gary ass that fight for real, and I earned my respect. I remember everybody in Georgia was chanting my name. It was crazy. Like that whole gym was roaring my name. Like you know what I'm saying? It was just like I became somebody after that. And it was just like I've always wrote. It's so many different examples I could give you, but like I said,
Mhm.
when it comes to me fighting the best, I always rise to the occasion. So people they can sleep, you know, but they gonna wake up soon.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we had user here, Hami asked, like, what did you think of Carrington's last fight that he had against Hayter? If you were able to catch that.
Nah, honestly, I ain't even watching, man. I seen the highlights though. I mean, I seen the highlights, but Shoo, man, that's my homie, man.
Yeah,
He do his thing, and I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it. I
yeah,
think Shoe Sharp. I think he's a good fighter. And like I
yeah.
said, man, the time will come when me and him will settle up our 1-1 from the Olympic trials, and we'll make a big fight happen between each other. And then
Word, word. And Terrence, it says, "Hey, yeah, you would be the hardest puncher and most athletic fighter that Inoue has ever faced, for sure."
absolutely. And this is me doing homework. I did homework on Inoue, like I really did. I did a deep study on him. Like I said, people they just be going off of face value from what they see, bro. Like in all damn near most of Inoue's opponents are all like 5'4", 5'5", like little as shit. And then a lot of them ain't even like. It depends. Like some of them can punch and some of them can't. So it's like you that little and you can't punch. You're definitely over with. Now the only ones who could punch were uh Neri and like I said, but Neri slow as shit, and then Cardenas. I think Cardenas he's a pretty decent puncher too, and those are the only two. Who else that he fought could really punch like that?
Mm,
You name any of them guys who like I did
no, man,
from
like to,
on that list. I
well,
looked at his
outside of
list.
maybe Donaire, you know,
Oh
but
well, yeah, but yeah, no. Besides Donaire, yeah. I'll be forgetting about that one sometimes, but
yeah.
yeah, but but even within Donaire, he passed his prom and everything, and he still was goddamn. He busted in the way, face up and shit. Like what I'm saying, don't no, Donaire a legend. End of the day, but you know what I'm saying, like he's like now if that had been prom Donaire, that would have been a different story, but
Hmm.
it wasn't. So
And also, it seems like in the number of the fights that Inoue has, it's like they're already kind of like intimidated of sorts, or whatever it is,
yeah, and they do be intimidated. And man, I don't like, bro. Oh my gosh, it just be funny to me because like people really just think that he would just walk through me like I ain't shit, and I'm like, yeah, that's hilarious. Like there is no absolute way and I say this in the most respectful way because I actually like Inoue. I really do. I think he's a great ass fighter. I really do. Like, I like his style. I think he got good power. Everything. He's a good fighter. Very very good fighter. But just the dog in me, the realistic nature in me is not gonna sit here and oblige motherfuckers saying that some 5'4", 5'5" Asian dude is finna come in there and just walk me down and knock me out. Like y'all are fucking crazy.
Is
Like
that
what?
wild, isn't it? Absolutely wild. Like like you said,
Like
when he's like 5'4"?
dude, and then on top of that, I'm like one of the biggest. Like I said, I'm the biggest. Just like Sean said, I'm the biggest and most athletic fighter anyway has ever be in the ring with. I promise anyway has not been in the ring with nobody as big, strong, or athletic as me.
Yep, yep. That's a fact. That's a fact. And I know this is an obvious answer here, but Jaime Alvarado asked, "Would you go to Japan for the monster?" Of course, man. Like, come on, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
You know
Like,
that.
yeah, I mean, if the fight was in space, man, Elijah Pierce would go out there and fight him. You know what I mean? So there you
Absolutely.
go.
I even got criticism. I even got criticism for not fighting him before when I could have fought him. It's like, bro, people have no idea, bro. Like I literally shed real tears, like real tears. Like I wanted to fight that man so bad. Like, cause I already like people just don't understand what would happen. Like when I beat him, what would happen to my life? What would happen to my kids' life? What would change? That would change the whole dynamic of how my whole family lives after I beat that man. I was hurt when I couldn't get that fight no more. But it is what it is, bro. It's God's plan. I couldn't make the weight. I couldn't, bro. I got too big. I can't make 22 no more. That's literally why the fuck I went up. I had to go up because
Mm,
I was not about to try to fight no Inoue half cock like I did San Martin. And that's what I'm saying. I still dropped San Martin. Like
yeah,
I just wish people just really knew the ins and outs of like how this shit goes. Like that people have
yeah,
no
because
clue. They judging me off of a performance when I was 50%, dude. Like 50%. And still like crazy.
yeah, and that was like one of the things that we kind of talked about, but it was also brought up like after the fight that you had against Michael Dasmarinas is that you're still learning on the job as far as like how to control yourself from like a nutrition standpoint, cutting weight, properly cutting weight, and all those other things, so where you're able to perform at your optimal level at the weight class that you would be in. So like at that time, like you knew at that particular point, you could not make 122 pounds and be able to perform at your optimal level. I mean, you don't want to necessarily look like Devin Haney did against what it was, George Kambosos, looking like the dude from Thriller or something. You know what I'm saying? Doing the dance,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'm saying, dude, I mean, 'cause end of the day, my whole outlook on it was like on like if I take a L to Inoue like Fulton did or whatever, and I'm not at my best or whatever, ain't nobody gonna care about why. They don't give a shit about why. Nobody cares about why. All they gonna remember is that oh you lost, or you got knocked out or whatever the case may be. And I did not want that on my career. I didn't want that on my heart because now, if you beat me at my best, I'll sleep fine. I'll sleep good at night because at least it's like, okay, I went in as a warrior. I fought my heart out, and then whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I went back to go in there and have cock with that man, the one that everybody slurping and everybody, you know what I'm saying, think he just so much better than everybody. Like, nah, bro, I want to fight that man where I'm 100%. Because when I beat him, it ain't no excuses, it ain't no nothing.
Word. And I mean, they universally have them around the top three pound for pound fighters in the sport, right now. So that would be the thing. You'll be able to knock them off, and clip them off that, pound for pound list. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
telling you. I'm telling you. People just they just don't know. Like I said, man, my name is Elijah for a reason, bro. Like I said, and I mean that's gonna go over a lot of people's heads, bro. My uncle, he always says, "I bring the fire with me." You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than boxing, but
Yeah.
that's another conversation. But it's bottom line,
Right.
man. Like I'm really one of them, and just as the time moves forward, people will see I'm as resilient as they come, and I come from a place of purity. You know what I'm saying? My heart carries a ton. Yeah, I'm not the a typical. I'm not the typical braggadocious fighter or whatever. Like I do talk shit and I do back, but I back it up. And you know, I do a lot of the antics, whatever, for entertainment purposes. But you know, genuinely, I fight with my heart. I fight with my whole spirit. I fight with good intent, with pure intention. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
That's something you can't teach that.
definitely can't. And like you said, man, you're not like necessarily like out there. I mean, as you said, you could be braggadocious to a certain level, but it's not, as some people would say, over the top or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, y'all know what I do, y'all know how I do. So hey, you see what I'm doing right here, right now. So hey, if you can't, respect what I'm doing, hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna still do what I do. You feel me?
Word up.
Yeah. So that's the thing, man. We definitely gonna look forward to what's gonna be next here for the Wolf. Like I said, man, the hunt continues. And hey, I don't know if I might have to make a call to Sean Gibbons or maybe a couple phone calls to the World Boxing Organization or something like that. But we gonna see about get you set up for an eliminator bout here next, so that you get one step closer to a featherweight world title shot.
Yes, sir. And like I said, that's the goal. And you know, we it's coming. I can feel it too. And like I said, when it happens, and I'm gonna rise to the occasion every time, bro. This is like it's just a patience game, you know. But like I said, I'm undeterred. I'm focused. I'm ready for it all.
Gotcha, gotcha. So we definitely will give big thanks for you to taking the time here to chop it up with the Boxing Source here once again. And we'll be catching up with you, like I said, on social media. Y'all follow him on social media, but it's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He's on Twitter as well. So y'all be sure to follow him on social media to get the latest here from the Wolf, Elijah Pierce. Man, thanks once again, and we'll catch you back here later on down the line.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. You already know what it is. But yeah, as you said, I guess I'm on Instagram and Elijah underscore Pierce. On Twitter at WXXXLFIE. Like I said, Facebook as well. You know what I'm saying? I show love to everybody, who show love to me. So feel free to inquire about anything. If there's any youngsters who want some advice on, trying to get in the game, who are amateurs, anything like that nature, feel free to reach out, man. This is what it's all about. Just spreading love, to the boxing community, and just like I said, reciprocating all the positive energy that's put into me.
Mm. Word. Oh, speaking of that, I think I saw like on one of your stories that you're working with a young fighter. I think that's like 2-0, currently 2-0. It might
Oh
be
no, no, no. He's getting ready for his second fight this weekend.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
1-0. And like I said, he jumped straight in the big pool. You know what I'm saying? He was he went open at the gate. He ain't even fight novice.
Mhm.
Yeah, his first fight. So you already know, like for me to have trained somebody, this is my first fighter I got from the ground up. So I ain't, I personally named him and everything. His name is K9.
Mm. There you go, man. Hey, you got the wolf on one side, you got K9 on the other side. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, man. So that's definitely what's up, man. Looking forward to seeing what's going on with them. So I got to be sure to follow him also as well. When he gets his career built up here in the pro game as well. But like I said, thanks once again here as always here for chopping it up with the Boston Source, and we're gonna see you here again soon.
No doubt, man. Until next time, bro.
All right, for sure.
All right, later.
Later.